And I said, okay, so if that were if someone wrote 1,000-page book describing the whole story of human history, and they dedicated the same amount of years to each page, so 250 years is covered in each page. That would be 250,000 years total. And so I just kind of laid out the pages, and I was like, damn, in this 1,000-page book, all there is hunter gatherers till page 950.
I don't know if you've heard this one, but sort of Cleopatra is closer to the iPhone than the building of the pyramids, right? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, Cleopatra and George Washington and the people who built the pyramids lived in a world that was, the power was always off in all three of their lives.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There was no electricity. There was no, there just were no factories. There was no steam engines. They were using the same kind of, George Washington, his world was using the same kind of energy, water, wind, fire, as the most ancient people. Right. They didn't have plumbing, right, in any of those three worlds. You can just say they have a lot in common. You go, thing by thing, and population was under 1 billion in all of those three worlds. We have 8 now, 1 page. So this last 250 years was just complete anomaly.
Yeah. And really the last 25, right? So that's, it's telegeography explains the internet here. The internet would show up in the last few words of page 1000, right? So that's and
totally the last like 2 lines, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly, I think, why your book resonated so much with me, is that I'm thinking all the time about the internet, how it developed, where it is, how it's reached people in the physical sense, right? And you put it in this context of creatures of evolution who are incredibly ill-equipped to deal with this level of communication, right? Even within the sort of internet world itself, the folks who invented the internet, right, for, it was nerds like academics, people working for the government, that kind of thing, envisioning really like that it would never be something that went much beyond the nerds, right? Certainly not something like we have now, where
the ARPANET.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You know what I mean? And then from there, even when it spread to individuals outside of those institutions, they were people who were, very educated for the most part, who were thinking about these things on a very different level. I forget where I heard this, but before the last 20, 15 even years or so, most adult humans would write their last sort of paragraph in high school, right, for the rest of their lives, right? Maybe they would write the occasional letter, but now we have this world where like literally anyone, almost, right, certainly within the developed world, can communicate with potentially millions of people.